Good morning, friends. Welcome to Historic Reflection. Today is Monday and May 8th. Very important incident happened, and we have selected four incidents for you to basically give details about. And let me start the show by talking about the first incident which happened today. Now, this is about basically holding 1 minute of silence after the World War First had ended. And this was proposed by Edward George in the year 1919 on May 8th. And since that time, we have been basically following a minute of silence in respect of the fallen one in the war. Now, why it is significant? Because first of all, today is May 8th, and this day basically this tradition was started on May 8th, where we actually basically respect the foreign soldiers. But World War One is the most bloody battle that man has ever fought, as per our history. A lot of people died, and as you know that in those days the mechanization was not very prevalent. So soldiers, when they used to go on battle, they used to basically believe in their bravado. They used to believe in basically head count, and bigger the army, bigger the punch, and therefore a bigger army would always prevail. So it was a number game during the First World War, and whoever basically had the innovation in terms of mechanization will eventually overcome this factor of the iteration game that the countries were playing during First World War. And the strategy was that you dig trenches and hold your ground. And in that strategy, people used to have machine guns installed, and they used to fire in a very indiscriminate manner to kill the enemy. And therefore a lot of people died during First World War. The casualty count of soldiers as well as civilians during First World War is the highest in any battle. Therefore a lot of people died, and it was meaningless. People were just sent out, charge on the enemy, and then the enemy will just use the machine gun to cut them down. So this was going on in First World War, and until the arrival of the tanks. When the tanks arrived later in 1917, 1918 time frame, that actually swing the battle, and that actually saved the casualty. Otherwise, it was sort of a stalemate situation. And when the tank arrived, then the tank did not care about the trenches, etc. It will just roll over the enemy, and thus the war ended, defeating the German and the Germany side, and the Allies won, and that ended the war quickly. Otherwise, the war would have raged on, and there would have been much more casualties during the First World War if this trend would have continued. So, friends, important day. A lot of people died. A lot of Indians also died who participated during the First World War, because you know that we were a British colony at that time, and a lot of Indian soldiers were enlisted in the British Army, who were actually fighting in the European theater. So a lot of people died. Australian, Indians, wherever there, the soldiers were fighting for the British. They were mostly from the colonies, which is the colony or the Commonwealth. So I think it's an important day to remember, May 8th, where the tradition of holding 1 minute silence for the fallen one. So, friends, this is the first information. I will take a very small break. After the break, my colleague Kanchan Verma will tell you about the other important incident which happened on May 8th. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back within few seconds.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Historical Reflection. And today I'm taking a very wonderful story which started on 8th of May. But before that, I would like to give you a kind of a reflection of our own race, which is Homo sapien. You see, Homo sapien sometimes act really funny because sometimes we discriminate between white color, skin color, and the black skin color. We discriminate our own race when we talk about a taller race or a shorter race, but we don't see it combinedly that we all are Homo sapiens and we should respect each other. But this thing comes on a very low phase when we think about untouchability, especially in India. And you see this bad practice which was prevalent in India, and this was eradicated by our own Mahatma Gandhi. And things so happened on 8th of May. 8th of May 8th of May, Mahatma Gandhi took a protest against untouchability in India, and it was considered as a phase of purification for all of people who believe in untouchability. And it was persuaded by Mahatma Gandhi to open the temples, the doors of the temple, so that everybody can go and visit the Ishwar, visit the God, and there should be no discrimination. And this is was done. This is a fasting which he took within 8 months. He was so adamant on this eradication of untouchability that doctors has already asked him that please stop. He took 21 days of fasting without taking any food, and doctor has asked him not to just break the fast because it will lead to the death of our beloved Mahatma Gandhi. But he didn't listen, and he just took this decision into his hands, and the whole thing got coverage. And this is the way the initiation of this bad practice which started, and this is how the untouchabilities were eradicated in India. And that is a really great work which is done, the great initiative which was taken by Mahatma Gandhi. And due to this, today we don't have any this kind of bad practice in India which leads with the untouchability. So stay tuned. I have another story lined up which will be presented by Chandrakant. So I'll be meeting you in few minutes.
Hello, friends. And the next information which happened on May 8th is about the Second World War. I don't know why, I'm talking about wars. It's not my intention to talk about wars, but on May 8th, these are important incidents which affected the world, and therefore I'm talking about the Second World War this time. And this time about the closure of the World War in the European sector, which is the Germany, which was controlled by Nazis in those days, and they were fighting. So if you look at the Western world, they would like to call Germany as Nazi Germany. And today on May 8th, they actually signed an unconditional surrender to allies, thus ending the war in the European theater. So it is an important incident because, first of all, most of the Nazi leadership had disappeared, either dead or they had deserted, and therefore whoever remained had to had to be working with the allies in order to basically sign off these important documents of unconditional surrender. And that is why today is an important day when all the Nazi soldiers, almost like, if I'm not mistaken, something like 600,000 soldiers spread across all different fronts in Europe, either east or west, they actually surrendered today by a decree signed by the the generals, remaining generals of the army, in Berlin, and that important document was signed today on May 8th. As you can see, this is the document of surrender, and this was an unconditional surrender signed by Germany. That means from this point onwards, the Germany will not have any sort of control, and they will have to follow what the allies tell them to do, whether they have to basically become democratic, or they have to basically follow certain guidelines which allies will actually tell them. So this is how the Second World War ended in Europe. But I like to clarify this point to you, that the Second World War did not end by the surrender of Nazi Germany. The war raged on because Japan was already fighting with the United States, in turn with allies in the Pacific theater. The war continued even after surrender of Germany. So this is an important event which happened, and we have to cover it. Today is May 8th. So friend, I will take a break. The next piece of information will be presented to you by my colleague Kanchan Verma. I will be back after a few seconds of break. Don't go anywhere.
Bond, James Bond. I think many of you must be quite interested in the Bond films, and you must have seen all of them. But I'm talking about the first release of James Bond, which was done by Sean Connery, who was a Scottish actor, and 1962 on 8th of May. And this film was released today, and the Sean Connery was not so famous, but this film made him quite famous. And do you know that what 007 stands for? 00 stands for for a person who has license to kill, and 7 is the designation of the agent who is working in MI6. So this is something good, quite a great news for cinema lover people, especially those people who love Bond movies. So this is a piece of information for you all, and you should be celebrating. And how to celebrate this Bond movies which you like most is you can have you can see a Bond movie today itself. So it is a piece of information. Today, for the first time, Mr. No was released in 1962, and that became a history. And after that, it is also said that Sean Connery is considered as the best Bond artist, best Bond in entire Bond series. So this is something very good news for Bond lover, Bond film lover. So this is one piece which I want to share with you. So so this is some these incidents which been introduced to you today, which happened on 8th of May. I'll be meeting tomorrow along with my colleague and share the important events tomorrow. Till then, bye bye, and you take care.